Hi, my name is Julia Stephenson and I'm the curator at the National Glass Centre, and this is a little introduction to an exhibition called No Strings, which was due to open just as we went into lockdown. This first piece is by an artist who is based in Denmark. She's called Faranak Sohi and she's originally from Iran. As you can see, she takes everyday objects and covers them in hundreds and thousands of glass beads. There's very much a link to pop art here if you think about Andy Warhol and his soup tins, taking the everyday and making it into art. A nice mixture of British tomato ketchup and American fast food. And also this idea that things in our life that are quite disposable can actually be made to be quite precious. And again, using the subject that you wouldn't normally consider as being right for art, so kitchen utensils and devices that have been reproduced so beautifully and so carefully that they are now very beautiful artistic objects in their own right. Some lemon or citrus squeezers. And again, some more kitchen equipment. So moving on to pieces by a French artist called Jim Skull. I don't believe that is his birth name, but he works with skulls, not real ones, although they do look very realistic, and covers them in this case in beads. In other instances with other things, if you look online, you can see some other fantastic examples of his work. And this next work is by a lady called Felica van der Lees. She's a jeweller and she works in crochet and with beads. This is a neck piece. She's got a fantastic sense of humour, as you might be able to gather. And this guy is going to the Olympics, coronavirus or not. Some cat-based pieces. These are rings. And then here we've got a neck piece, which is also a little sculptural installation of some animals having a very interesting gathering in the woods. And then the gentleman with the yellow trousers is a bracelet. This work by Caroline Broadhead, who you might remember was featured in National Glass Centre's last exhibition. This is the cast skin of a stool, all made in beads. This piece is quite remarkable. All made in beads. If you pull it out, you lose the image. If you push it together, you get this very detailed, painterly-like image. And then this is some work by a guy called Shaggy Fujishiro, originally from Japan, now living in Hanover in Germany. This is a dining room setting with every single detail made up using safety pins and beads from Japan. And this piece is based on a traditional Japanese pattern, again reproduced in safety pins and beads. And here we have the curtains of the dining room and the floral corner piece. This is work by an artist who is based in Seattle in the United States. He's called David Chat, and this really beautiful piece is based on a story about a little girl who was friends with a crow, and the crow brought her something new that it had found every day. And these pieces are found objects by David that he imagines that the crow might have brought, all encased in this beautiful beaded mesh. And these are some of David Chat's necklaces, taking very everyday objects and then surrounding them with beads and turning them into something jewel-like and precious. Some more of Shaggy's work. These are some of his designer handbags, again all made using safety pins and beads, and there's Shaggy in the image above. And then we go from the designer bags to the everyday bags, our fast food outlets, dog poo bags, supermarket bags. And again, a bit like some of the other artists, Shaggy's taken everyday items that we find that are essentially throwaway, and he's turned them into beautifully made artistic objects, including the IKEA bag. And Shaggy also makes a range of clothing, not to be worn, especially if you're worried about any of the safety pins popping, in safety pins and beads. They're life size. And he's been doing this work for quite a long time. Obviously it's very time consuming, but he's also been practicing in this way for a number of years. The red dress that you can see on the right he made 20 years ago. And I think it has a lovely way of capturing the fluidity of movement. And another two outfits. I think the way that Shaggy has used colour in this dress is really impressive. It's like a peacock-like array of feathers. And then some of Shaggy's football scarves. The one at the top that you can see that says Sunder Lover is now part of National Glass Centre's collection. Wherever Shaggy shows work, when he can, he makes a scarf based on the town or city's football team. And then he makes the other half Hanover, so it's a collaboration between his now home city and the city that he's showing in. And it was quite a good twist of fortune and fate that putting Sunderland and Hanover together made the word Sunderlover. And then this piece is by an artist who works between South Korea and the United States. She's called Ran Huang. This is definitely a piece for people who like a little bit of bling. It's a plexiglass base with the glass beads all pinned into the base to make this almost two-dimensional chandelier. And then coming round to a little bit more of Shaggy's work. I hope that you've enjoyed looking at this, and I hope that when we do reopen you're able to come in and have a look at it look at it in its own right, and I hope that perhaps you found some inspiration for something interesting and different to do during lockdown. Thank you.